I'm Mark Callahan, and I approve this message. For 20 years, Ron Wyden has put corporate donors and lobbyists first. He continually votes against our Constitution. He voted against your Second Amendment rights. His vote passed Obamacare. He voted in favor of the Iran deal while taking donations from foreign entities who want to mine uranium in eastern Oregon. He voted for the Fast Track Authority to enable the TPP, aka NAFTA on steroids, that will ship our jobs overseas. He has written and passed legislation that enables crony capitalism. Ron Wyden has stolen our children's futures, and it is time to retire him to his New York home. My name is Mark Callahan, and I am committed to representing all Oregonians. I will fight for your constitutional rights in D.C. I will reverse the crony capitalism by establishing a lower flat tax for all businesses and citizens that will replace our current 74,000-page tax code. To do so, I need your help to spread my message to all Oregonians by donating today at CallahanForOregon.com, paid for by Callahan for U.S. Senate. Thank you.
The endorsement interview, they had all the candidates there that were running in the Republican primary, asking them questions. And they really only had interest in two of them that had a lot of money that came in late to the game.
And caught on camera, this is what the press is really like when you're not watching. Watch this.
I see what you're writing down there. You just wrote down blah, 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 blah for everything that Joe Ray said. Joe Ray is a respectable woman. Mark. Why are you not respecting her by writing blah, 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 blah on your notepad?
Ooh, busted. That's Senate candidate calling it as he sees it. He joins us live this hour.
You want to talk about disrespect? I see what you're writing down there. You just wrote down blah, 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 blah for everything that Joe Ray said. Joe Ray is a respectable woman. Mark. Why are you not respecting her by writing blah, 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 blah on your notepad?
Mark, do you believe that's a myth or a reality?
It's a myth.
It is?
Yes.
Okay.
Where are you on the Easter Bunny?
What's that?
I said, where are you on the Easter Bunny?
Are these really the questions that I was called here to answer to quote movie quote? Really?
Representative,
I called you out for putting blah, 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 blah on your notepad, and now you're asking me questions like this?
Oof, that was Mark Callahan. He's running for U.S. Senate in the state of Oregon, and he got into it with a bunch of editorial writers at a local weekly paper for their behavior in a meeting with Republican Senate candidates seeking the paper's endorsement. Callahan was later tossed out of the meeting for, quote, not following the rules, whatever that means. He joins us now to tell us what happened. Mr. Callahan, thanks for coming on.
Good morning, Tucker. How are you doing?
So were they as awful as they seemed?
Yes, they were.
Huh, because they seemed totally supercilious and arrogant, and as you pointed out, thin-skinned from beginning to end. But I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe the video was misleading, but it wasn't.
Yeah, I think they were on a power trip, personally. I mean, it was all about control to them, and I think they were just on a power trip, and they were basically trying to control the meeting. And it's a fairly liberal paper, and they were basically trying to manhandle us Republicans out here in Oregon. And it was not something I could stand for, especially when they were dishonoring a fellow candidate.
Working for some sad little weekly paper in Oregon, they're on a power trip.
Yeah, exactly.
Perspective in order. So I was really struck by the exchange on global warming or climate change, whatever they're calling it now. He asked you, I thought, a totally unfair question: is it a myth or not? I mean, what does that even mean? And then, rather than digesting what you said, he just dismissed you as a wacko.
Exactly. Well, I mean, that's what they do out here in Oregon. I mean, Oregon has gotten kind of the reputation of kind of being a liberal state. I mean, in my opinion, Oregon is kind of a red state with blue islands, with
Yes.
Blue Islands being kind of the major cities.
Yes.
But basically, I mean, it's gotcha questions, basically, is what they were doing. And the Easter Bunny question, I mean, I had to quote from that movie, A Few Good Men, and the Jack Nicholson quote, you know, and by saying, are these really the questions that I was called here to answer? But basically, they were very condescending, very controlling. And as I said, I'm an Eagle Scout myself. I grew up learning about honor, integrity, and character. And I just could not let them do what they were doing to a fellow candidate in the race, Joe Ray Perkins, in terms of her not even being there. She was on the speakerphone at the time. And I just couldn't let that stand. I mean, it just came from within me in order to say something, because what they were doing is acting dishonorably.
Yeah. Well, here's their response. This is from the paper, the Willamette Week. Our goal is not to provide equal time to all candidates, but to explore questions that we think matter most to our readers. Not everyone likes to follow the rules, and on a rare occasion, we have to ask candidates to leave the endorsement interviews. That's what happened when Callahan came to our office. What was the rule that you supposedly broke?
To this day, I really don't know. I mean, honestly, we've been to other candidate forums, the 5 of us, and all around the state, and we've always gotten equal time to answer questions. But it just didn't seem like they were actually doing that this time. And apparently, that I stepped out of their control norm or their totalitarian regime that they were controlling in the room there. And I guess it kind of irked them. But I stood up for what I believe in terms of defending a fellow candidate.
So if you don't believe that the Earth is getting warmer every year as the result of industrial progress or carbon emissions, then you're like mentally ill.
Well, according to them, apparently. But I mean, I'm obviously not. I mean, I believe. I mean, it's called different things over the years. It's called what? Global warming, and then the liberals changed it to climate change. I personally just call it weather myself.
Yeah,
but
weather.
I mean. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, the point is they were kind of trying to call me out and kind of ask one of those gotcha questions.
Yeah, that's not really a question. It's more a statement. I agree with you on Oregon, by the way. If you took out Eugene and Portland, it would be Wyoming. Such a great state. Thanks a lot. Good luck.
Oh, thank you.
Coming on this morning.
I'm Mark Callahan, and I approve this message. I am fed up with crony career politicians raising our taxes, denying us rights, shipping our jobs out of Oregon. I'm running to represent all Oregonians by replacing Ron Wyden in the U.S. Senate. Senator Wyden supports the TPP, which is NAFTA on steroids, and will ship our jobs overseas. Senator Wyden voted to deny our Second Amendment rights. Senator Wyden voted for the Iran deal. Senator Wyden helped draft our 74,000-page tax code, and Senator Wyden is responsible for passing Obamacare. In Washington, D.C., I will propose and support a fair and flat tax. I will support enacting a balanced budget amendment because as Americans, we have to balance our checkbook. The federal government should have to do the same. Senator Wyden makes his home in New York City and no longer represents our Oregon values. Vote Mark Callahan for U.S. Senate and I will make America safe again. I need your help to spread my message to all Oregonians by donating today at CallahanForOregon.com. Paid for by Callahan for U.S. Senate.
I'm Lisa Michaels, endorsing Mark Callahan for the U.S. Senate to defeat Ron Wyden.
It's a meeting being asked by disrespectful, thin-skinned liberals like yourself.
There's the door.